And then
and that could have gone either way.
he was seen as a kind of a fluffer, wasn't he?
To be fair, a lot of people said that AJ wasn't convincing against him.
Does it have that glitz and that glamour, Baz?
The only thing,
Could you sell it to the world?
No one knows if
Supposedly
he's banned or not.
cleared, but he's not cleared. He doesn't have a UK license.
I feel like he's at that point of his life and his career that he needs to just go for it, you know?
Both fighters here is the perfect fight for now, and it's the most challenging fight out there for me and for him.
Why is it the perfect fight for you? And you say it's the most challenging.
Because he hasn't been beaten.
So you get
And
a buzz out of
a
that.
lot of people think that he's invincible and he can take every punch out there. But I will show everyone what I can do in the ring.
In today's episode, we put together our top 5 fights for Joseph Parker. We've been patiently waiting, but we can't wait any longer. Baz, you're going to go first, and then I'll go next, and we'll do it like that until we get to number 1, yeah?
All right, we'll start off from Mambo number 5, yeah?
Let's go. Number 5,
right.
Baz.
This was one of my picks, and I think this is a good one. I feel good about this one.
Yeah?
And
Let's get
yeah. And that's Jermaine Franklin, sir.
Ooh, Jermaine Franklin. That's a name I haven't heard for a little while.
Yeah, where's he been floating around?
Really good pick.
You've not
that
heard
is.
nothing about Jermaine Franklin, have you?
You know what? I like Jermaine Franklin. He came onto the UK scene with that fight against Dillian White, didn't he?
Yeah,
And then
and that could have gone either way. I mean,
And
we
no
thought
one-
Dillian White won, but you know.
it was a very tight fight, very tight.
Yeah.
And Dillian White just about got the nod. Basically, he was seen as a kind of a fluffer, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He was a fluffer. It's a fluffer.
fluffer.
They were testing him out against Dillian White because they knew they wanted to put him against AJ afterwards, and it was part of that build back better for AJ. And they wanted to test him against Dillian White first, and then after that they put him in against AJ, didn't they?
Yeah, and to be fair, a lot of people said that AJ wasn't convincing against him, and he did throw a lot of punches. So
He's a very similar style to Joseph Parker, actually. From looking at those two fights, he's got very quick hands. He lacks a little bit of power, doesn't he?
a little bit. But
Yeah.
if you actually watch his last fight against Devin Vargas, that guy was coming forward like Terminator. I swear to God,
Yeah.
the amount of big shots
Who
Franklin
Franklin
was
was?
throwing. No, Devin Vargas was.
Yeah.
He took some big punches. Like I'm not even. I don't know how he didn't get knocked out.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that says
Did
more about
that go to points, that one?
that went to points. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that says more about Franklin than it does about Devin Vargas. But in terms of letting power shots off, Jermaine Franklin was actually giving it. So he's looked really convincing in his last 2 fights, and he's got a good chin.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
AJ
got a
didn't
good
knock him
story
out.
as well, isn't he?
Dillian
as
White
well?
didn't knock him out.
Franklin's got a good story. He's come from humble beginnings. He was working up until that point, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Before he fought Dillian White.
That's true, he had 2 jobs, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he was able to quit the jobs to focus just on the boxing. He's definitely good enough to be in there. And I think that's a good name for Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
But does it have that glitz and that glamour, Baz?
This is the only thing,
Could you
really.
sell it to the world, that fight?
I mean,
Because we're looking at these fights, but they're potentially beyond Riyadh season somewhere, weren't they?
Yeah, I hear that. But you got to think of it. Look, the main
It's
two
one
belts
for
are tied up.
It's one for the hardcores, isn't it? I think
It
a little
is.
bit.
It is. But all the belts are tied up at the moment, so pretty much. So in the interim, Joe Parker, he deserves another title.
This is
shot.
the thing. So I mean, we're doing these top 5. Are we doing it on top 5 likely fights or top 5 fights you want to see?
I think it's got to be a bit of both, really. Because
Yeah.
it's a bit of a tough one at the
Because
moment.
it's the heavyweight division is buzzing again. Yeah, Turkey Al-Sheikh come into it. He's relit the heavyweight division. There's loads of potential combinations of fights, and there's a lot happening. So all right, number 5. I think that's a good number 5, Baz.
All right, why don't you round off number 4? Give us a little number 4, son.
My number 4 pick, Baz,
Yeah, go on.
for fighter to fight Joe Parker is
Go on.
Dillian White.
Dillian White.
Yeah.
Where is he? I've known that name for a little while.
Well, I know we did it the other week, and it'd be a good fight for AJ, but I think it works both ways. It'll be a good one for Joe Parker. One of the only guys to inflict a loss on Joe Parker. You got Dillian White, Joseph Parker, and Joe Joyce. But out of the three of them, I think it's a good pick for Joe Parker, Baz. He's on a roll. He's come back with a vengeance. Everyone's talking about Joe Parker. He can get his revenge against Dillian Whyte.
It's true. But, and it actually works well for Dillian Whyte as well, because if he does get that win,
pulls him out of the wilderness, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
but we still don't know what's going on.
There's still a lot of
like
question marks on Dillian Whyte, though, isn't
there? Yeah. No one knows
Supposedly
if
he's cleared, but he's not cleared. He doesn't have a UK license, and the fights in Riyadh are being looked after by the British Boxing Board of Control. They've got all of their judges there, so I don't think he'd get the seal of approval from them. So I don't know, Baz. I don't think that one is a likely one. And as I said, this fight is likely to be on a Riyadh card somewhere.
Yeah, and being that Dillian Whyte hasn't fought on any Riyadh cards as well yet. Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one. One.
Let's take the legality out of it, Baz. Would it be a good fight?
It would be good. Of course, it'd be a cracking fight. But we don't know where
first
Dillian
one was a good fight,
anymore.
Wasn't it?
It's been so long that we've seen Dillian. We don't know where he is. Where is he as a fighter now?
He had that little turn fight, didn't he, in Ireland somewhere, and it was like in some small hall somewhere. No, there was like barely any video footage. I think someone's filmed it on their Nokia 57 or whatever it is. And so that's the only kind of footage we've got
while
of it.
playing Snake at the same time.
It's like ding ding. For the younger viewers, they'll be like, Snake? What is this?
Oh man, I miss those old phones. They were the one.
Yeah. So much simpler back then, Baz. But
it's true.
During the war.
Sure.
All right, so that was my number 4. Then we've had the number 5. That was my number 4, Baz. It's a one. It's a tough one to get past. I think if anyone can make it, Turkey Al-Sheikh can get it on.
They can do the job.
But let's fly into it, Baz. Let's keep it rolling. Number 3.
Number 3. Well, he's a hot topic, and that would be Fabio Wardley.
I like that one.
Yeah,
Wardley.
That would be a war.
Yeah, he had that fight against Fraser Clark. We saw what happened there, Baz, didn't we? It was a bit of a shocking, brutal fight whilst it lasted. And actually, you called it and said Fabio Wardley would get the win and he would get it done early on, didn't you, Baz?
Where's my flowers? Give me my flowers.
Everyone says a 50-50 fight. You went there. So that was a good call. It was a good call. And he is looking for that step-up fight, isn't he, Fabio Wardley?
He is. And I think he's at that point now where he can't.
You think he's ready?
Really, I think he's ready. Yeah, I think so, because there's not really... There's a little bit more middle ground he could go. He could go for his Adjit Kabeels, his Bakolis, people like them. He could go for them. But I feel like he's at that point of his life and his career that he needs to just go for it,
Yeah. I think you're right. You can roll the dice on that one. It'll be a good one to do it.
And it would sell for Joseph Parker. It would be a good selling point. So it would make money on that fight.
That'd be massive for the UK fans, the Aussie fans. Joe Parker's a big name in the UK, and obviously Fabio Wardley is, and that's one I think you could push that out in the US as well. It would do big numbers, I think, that fight, Baz.
Yeah, definitely.
There wouldn't be a lot of trash talk. Fabio Wardley,
because I don't think there's any beef between them two. But
no, I mean they're both nice guys, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, you've got Frank Warren, haven't you? Queen's big promoter. He got you in with Riyadh Season and Eddie Hearn, and he's done a lot of work with Joe Parker. I think that'd be
money talks.
Yeah, it does. It'll be a really easy fight to make that one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
And Joe Parker said he'll fight anyone. So
that's true.
Parker might see it as low risk for him, given his experience. So again, that's why it's a great fight.
They're both like throwing haymakers at the minute. So it'll be toe to toe.
Yeah. So Baz, that's the really good shout. I really like that one. Fabio Wardley versus Joe Parker. I think that'd be a great fight. Actually, maybe even deserving of a number 1 slot on our top 5. Yeah, but I mean, let's keep it going, Baz. Keep the energy levels high.
Before we get to our final 2 sub, we just got to give a shout out to all our new subscribers. And, if you haven't already, like and hit that subscribe button. It helps us so much. Helps us create more videos.
Do it now. Just like it and subscribe. Go.
Give it a little jab.
Yeah. A
little jab cross.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring us on to number 2. So what you got for it, sub?
All right. It's an interesting one, this one, Baz. And I'm kind I don't know if it sits within the rules, but I've gone for a joint number two.
Joint number 2.
And I'll explain my reasons why in a minute. Okay, coming in at number 2, Baz, I've got Ajit Caballero, stroke Bakoli. And I'll tell you why, Baz, because...
Who told you strokes were allowed?
I believe I believe the IBF have ordered them two to fight. So there is something there in place. So potentially it's not a fight that's going to happen next for Joe.
You proper flim-flammed on that one, didn't you?
It's a good fight. It's a good fight. Before the order came in, I was thinking one of those two would be great for Joe Parker.
Who, out of them two, then, who do you think would be like? Who would you prefer to see fight Joe Parker?
I think
the
Bakoli fight would be explosive because you've got Bakoli. He's a bit of a cumbersome fighter, a lot of power, and he's a bit slow.
Does he sell tickets now, though? Do you think
the name is building? The name is building with Bakoli because he got the win over Anderson and
an emphatic win as well.
Yeah. A lot of people weren't expecting him to get the win there, so he's kind of built his name a bit off that. We've had Bob Arum moaning about that fight as well recently, saying what a terrible fight it was for Anderson to fight Bakoli, and he didn't advise it. He advised Anderson not to do it because it was a major risk there, but the money was just too good.
He wanted to bubble wrap him some more.
He wanted to get a bit more cash out of him, get those takeover fights.
His cash cow's gone. So
keep doing what they're doing, almost like with Wilder.
It's always the way with these American. Like, I hate to be generic with it, but it happens quite a lot with the American fighters.
I think it's just fighters in general, but in terms of the heavyweights,
promoters.
Obviously you had Wilder. He was protected in a way for ages, wasn't he?
That's what I mean.
And then now it's kind of been found out. Obviously age has got to him as well. And on these Riyadh cards, Baz, no one can hide, which is the great thing.
Safe.
That's just a great thing. If you're good enough, you'll go on and you fight again. Yeah. And even if you give a good account of yourself, then you still get another fight. But you know the way they should start these Riyadh card stuff before they should announce it. The O has got to go because there's no one. No one's got no. They're all losing it. But I think Bakoli is a good fight for Joe Parker. He'll feel that he'll have the speed to get in and out there and keep him off. It could be similar to like that Joe Joyce fight that he had, which didn't quite go so well for Parker, but
he's a different fighter now.
It's different fighter. He's teamed up with George Lockhart. He's been working with Andy Lee. He's got the nutrition right. Everything's working for Joe Parker at the moment. So I think that's the one. Obviously, Ajit Caballero is he's been making his name off these Riyadh cards as well. He's a good fighter, and I want to see him in big fights as well. So out of the two, I think I'd go Bakoli, Baz, at number 2.
All right, cool. All right, well that brings us up on to our number 1 sub.
How comes you get the number 1 slot, Baz?
I'm the best. This is because I smashed it so hard on our last competition.
Okay, we won't talk about that. Okay, all right, come on, Baz. Give me a number 1 slot for Joe Parker.
It's got to be Daniel Dubois, isn't it? Daniel Dubious. It's got to be done.
It's a great fight there. And it ticks loads of boxes, doesn't it, Baz? Because you got Parker. He wants another world title shot. For those of you don't know, he had a world title early on in his career, and then he lost it to AJ. He can get it back potentially against Daniel Dubois, and it's a big fight. Daniel Dubois' name's exploded since getting the win over Anthony Joshua. I think that's a great fight, Baz.
And to be fair, even if he lost it, which is possible considering how Daniel Dubois showed up last fight, it's one of them fights he could probably get a rematch out of it. So
I hate these rematches, Baz. Don't talk to me about rematches. Every time I see the word rematch, I get annoyed. Why do we need to have so many rematches? Just have a great fight, enjoy the fight, and then move on. And then maybe
if it was that good, we want to see it again, Sub. What can I say?
Just let it marinate a bit, Baz. Like, why did I keep throwing these rematches? Just like I don't want to see AJ Dubois next. Dubois got the win. Move on.
But you have to, Sub, because look at Andy Ruiz fight. See, he lost to Andy Ruiz. He come back. He smashed him up. Well, he didn't really smash him up, to be fair. He just fought.
He boxed off the back foot.
He boxed clever.
Yeah. And actually, Andy Ruiz, he didn't make the top 5 in here, but I think there's a case to slot him in somewhere on this one.
Yeah, I mean, we did think about him, didn't we? But
Yeah.
Torres wouldn't be a bad shout as well, to be fair.
Yeah, he had the draw with Miller, didn't he? And
yeah,
some were saying Miller won that. I think Andy Ruiz just done enough to edge it. But yeah, no, that's a good one, Baz. Dubois, number one. Big question is, will it happen? Because there's been talk to that rematch, as we said, with Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
You need to get on the blower to Turkey, see what's going on.
Yeah, I'll give him a bell. I'll give him a bell later.
Baz, let's just throw it from the bottom. So at number 5, we had Franklin. 4, we had White. 3, we had Fabio Wardley. 2, we had Ajit Caballero, stroke Bacoli, but more Bacoli. And number 1, we had Daniel Dubois. That's our top 5 list of good fights that we'd like to see Joe Parker in next. Guys, if you don't agree with it and we're talking codswallop, then put it in the comments what you think would be your top 5 or even your top 1 next fight for Joe Parker.
That's it. Beautiful. Yeah.